Did we support the plays we saw?
Deborah Whitfield's tech support is about the insupportable difficulties of living in the digital age. Pamela is in technical hell as all her gadgets fall apart. Her attempts at calling for technical help also meets with robotic resistance until she finally connects with a human being. She treats him like her psychiatrist as she rants about all of the problems in her life, husband divorcing her, and how she feels, quote, like an analog girl in a digital world, end of quote. Next thing she knows, she pushes buttons and time travels back to 1919. She finds herself in Charlie Blackwell's boarding house with tenants Grace and Macy, who are trying to get the right to vote, and Chip, a nice young man. Soon Pamela finds herself getting involved with everyone before she heads to the next time periods. Lost my place. At each time period, Pamela learns about herself and her interactions with everyone. It was a very interesting notion using time travel to compare the good and the bad qualities to the century's values, but it was poorly executed. It was riddled with cliches and common soap opera plots to prove a point we all know. People spend too much time on their devices and don't connect with each other on a human level. I was impressed with Natalie Taylor-Hart's clever set and Cyrus Newitt's props that evoked a computer motorboard and different room configurations with just a few items in a tiny space. Elliot Ford's projections helped to establish the time periods, even when they were vertigo-inducing. The cast were all quite versatile as they played various ages in different ages. I really wanted a life-type tech support, as time travel stories are one of my favorite genres, but sadly it was a waste of time, mixed face.
Mai is presenting a musical, Felix Starro, book and lyrics by Jessica Hagedorn, music by Fabian Obispo, and it's based on a short story by Leslie Tenorio, directed by Ralph Di Pena. It concerns Felix Starro, who's a Filipino psychic surgeon and faith healer who's been disgraced in his country, comes to America with his grandson, Felix Starro III, known as Junior, to regain his reputation and make enough money to retire. Junior, however, doesn't want to continue the family tradition and is hoping to be able to stay in the United States with the help of a document forger. Starro seems to really believe that he's able to heal with God's grace, even though he employs tricks. Among the people he's working on is a rich widow whose son turns out to be an important lawyer. I like the premise because I think it's an interesting idea, but the writing was really bad. The music was not much better. Even though the performers were top-notch, they couldn't really save it. The choreography just sort of seemed bizarre and pretty awful as well. So even though Mai is a company that I usually love and their performers are top-notch, I felt this show doesn't serve them well. So I was giving it mixed face minus.
And I don't have anything to add. I agree with Mark for once. Sorry, I love Mai too.
Keith Hamilton Cobb, in his American Moor, has written himself a juicy role of the frustrations of being a tall, imposing African-American actor studying and auditioning for clueless white folks. It starts out amusing and informative enough, especially for people in the theater who can relate to the intricacies of being an actor with the weight given to the method. His love and appreciation of Shakespeare's poetry and disses are given short shrift when confronted with an acting teacher who discourages him from pursuing all his favorite monologues, as it doesn't suit him due to his gender or ethnicity. He regulates him to limited choices. As an actor, one should be able to act any age, gender, or race, supposedly. Second half shows him succumbing to the inevitable and auditioning for Othello in front of a supercilious white director who has a presumption of telling him how to play a black man. While his anger and vexation is justifiable here, I couldn't help but wonder what his point is. Can only a black man direct Othello? Can only a Jewish man direct The Merchant of Venice? What about all this colorblind casting? Is it okay for acting but not directing? I also found myself questioning Wilson Chin's set. These giant columns, one with the griffin on top. What was the significance of that? It did not...
Venice, Moor of Venice.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, is that...
St. Mark, represented by the lion, big plaza, big church in Venice.
Oh, well, see, Mark is much more knowledgeable about these things than I am. But thanks for clearing that up. You should have come with me instead.
Oh, well.
Oh, well. Also, the trouble with the play was I had this know-it-all behind me, and she kept making comments to the whole thing, showing off, and she wouldn't shut up, and it was just, I wanted to punch her. And also, the theater was so cold, Antarctica was like the tropics. Oh, Mark, you would have died. You would have totally died. Anyway, Keith Hamilton Cobb is indeed a commanding figure on stage, but his writing doesn't match up to his acting talents. So, I'm sorry to say, once again, good premise, poorly executed, and mixed face.
Eureka Day is written by Jonathan Spector, directed by Adrian Campbell Holt, and it's about this radically progressive school, primary school, that's run by consensus, and a problem arises when an outbreak of mumps, and, you know, should people be vaccinated or not, destroys the consensus. The executive committee consists of the principal or dean of the school, who's played by Thomas J. Ryan, and a woman, Suzanne, who was sort of in at the beginning and a very important mother. And there's a new member who's a black lesbian mother of a special needs child, and she's finding sort of some of the procedures of the group a bit strange, but she recognizes the value of the school's educational policy.
Her silent expressions and reactions to the proceedings are just priceless.
Yeah, and you know, the funniest thing is when they try to open up the meeting of the executive committee to Facebook, and it's just everybody on the virtual world is into their own thing, filled with rancor, and it turns out to be the worst idea possible.
I know emojis and expressions go. I mean, you're gonna fall over laughing so hard.
But the second part of it does get very serious, because the whole issue of mumps and vaccination, you know, can be deadly. And, you know, like, it's really not clear who's right. Out of the play, I would think everybody must be vaccinated. But the play does raise some serious issues among these people.
Yeah, everyone is given a fair hearing. I mean, people who vaccinate, anti-vaccinate, do and don't. It's just everyone gets their say. So you are presented with basically three different sides. It's really good. And what difference do all the facts and statistics mean if it is your kid and your experiences? And there is much to think about in this play, and like I said, every aspect is given a fair hearing. And oh my gosh, but in the beginning, when they're so politically correct that just the form of, you know, what ethnic you are is like 2 pages long, because they want to get every single tiny little ethnic configuration. They're worrying about the gender neutral bathrooms. I mean, they're really, but really, it all, when it comes to like keeping the school and saving your kid, and everything goes out the window. Yeah. I mean, this is just so cleverly constructed. And Adrian Campbell Holt is such a fabulous director. I love Colt. So finally, we are leaving the poorly executed behind and finally get to give our happy faces. Edward Einhorn's Performance for One has taken the concept of having an actor facing a person in a small, closed-off space as they relate a story. I saw it with Elizabeth Chappell. First, she explained about the relationship between performer and audience member, and she raised an interesting point. How intimate hands can be, especially when they evoke the memories of a late father. Her eyes and voice had a way of drawing me in such an extent that I thought of my own memories of my late father. how important it is to tell memories to other people so that the memories don't die. Then the listener has a memory to perpetuate, even if it isn't their own. All this is done impressively in 10 minutes. If you get a chance to catch this, you really should. It's a unique experience, and happy face. Yay!
Second Stage presents Make Believe, written by Bess Wall and directed by Michael Grief. The first half of this truly devastating play, we have 4 young children playing house in their attic playroom, and very soon they discover that their mom has abandoned them. Playing the mom in the game is the oldest daughter, Kate, who's very serious about her math studies. The older brother, Chris, is the angry father, and he's sort of a bad boy at school. While the younger daughter plays the baby, and she sort of has her doll that she wants to be a mother to as well. While the youngest brother plays the family dog, and he never gets to say anything.
Which is just as well. And no time passes in between when we see them as adults later on. They're there for some
another event that's somewhat traumatic.
Yeah, but it's interesting to see how the kids, you see how what they did when they were younger turned them into what they became when they were older. And I mean, the children actors were phenomenal. I mean, the guy who played Chris, the kid who played Chris, I saw him as Charlie Bucket in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I couldn't believe it was the same kid. I mean, he's the Olivier of children actors, and all of them were just and the Addie with playing with the Cabbage Patch doll. I mean, what she does is shocking and telling, but you know, you think she's motherly, and it's just really parents can really ruin children.
Yeah, and it's amazing how you in the second act, second part, you see how although their childhood was destroying them, they still have some resiliency and manage in some ways to come out okay.
Yeah, but the most amazing thing is one tiny sentence changes everything you think about this play. Just one sentence. That's how brilliant Bess Wall is as a writer, and Michael Greif as a director really brought this up beautifully. In fact, some friends of mine, I was recommending this. I recommend this play to everyone, and they said, "Oh my God, it was so good! They want to go back and see it a second time."
Yeah, I think it would benefit because then everything they do as children has consequences for their adult behavior. And things that you might not have noticed at first, I'm sure, would stick out if you see it again. This is really one of the most well-written, well-directed, and well-acted plays I could imagine. It's like a perfect production.
And it made Mark cry.
Which I almost never do.
No, never. I mean, I was crying long afterwards, but him? My gosh, this shows you. We're ending on a good note.
Absolute happy face.
Kamala Sakaram's Looking at You is a dark opera about our vanishing privacy. Dorothy, a brilliant programmer, is hired by the Rix Corporation, a social media giant. Her boyfriend, Ethan, has vanished after publishing secret emails alerting the world to the dangers of the vast amounts of data being collected. Rix has been hired to find and punish Ethan, so Dorothy has to choose between her own aspirations and the evils of billionaire technology. The performance is incredible. The tech work almost magical. This is a true opera, brilliantly composed and sung by gifted young musicians. The action moves around the audience, sitting at tables surrounded by huge video screens that constantly display various social media, including profiles of audience members. I was floored when my own Facebook pictures flashed from screen to screen. One man was even arrested by the Department of Homeland Security. Clever play points hammering home the real dangers we are all beginning to face. Jake and I were both thrilled, so 2 happy face pluses for Looking at You, running at the Here Art Center through September 21st. See it. It is a great art.
Now I finally got time to show you my interviews from Beetlejuice with Alex Brightman, Sophia and Caruso, David Korins, and the Innovative Theater Award is coming up on Monday, September 16th, so
This is just a couple of the people I talked to at the nomination, Ludovica Villar-Hauser and Nathan Winklestein.
Alex Brightman, and I'm in Beetlejuice the musical as Beetlejuice, the main demon.
Yes, and you do it so well.
Thank you very much. I have a very good time doing it, so it's thrilling that people are enjoying it.
You go from demonic rock to a demonic character.
Yes, that's right. All I do now is iconic characters that have to leave a piece of themselves on stage every single day.
What piece are you leaving on this stage?
Tonight will be a left toe. Tomorrow will be a nostril. And on Sunday for our matinee, I'm going to actually leave my pinky if anyone wants to see it. And it is colored. I'll leave that on stage for you.
Oh, sweet. So it's almost like food special.
Yeah, it is. There's a blue light special every day on Beetlejuice. Everyone leaves with a merchandise, a cocktail, and also a piece of me, literally.
And so we should explain who Beetlejuice is.
Yeah, he's a demon from hell, and he has been dead for a millennia. He's never been seen. He's lonely, and he wants to be alive. A very relatable subject for something that seems so unrelatable. But yeah, he's a very oddly charming maniac who can haunt houses.
You should talk to Orpheus and Eurydice.
I know, my God, that's so fun. There's two what are the odds? 2 musicals in one season about the underworld. The netherworld is what we call it, but yeah.
And then you've got Gary that's piling the bodies up.
I know. It must say something about where we are in our culture right now, that death is sort of a thing we're looking at.
Yeah. Very morbid.
I think so, yeah.
Well, congratulations on the Drama League Award here, and good luck with everything you're doing. I love Beetlejuice. It was so much fun.
Thank you so much. I can tell. Thank you for your enthusiasm.
Sophia and Caruso.
And congratulations on the Theater World Award.
Thank you very much. It's very, very special. I'm quite honored. Thank you.
And now you're at the Drama League Awards.
Yes, I'm here at the Drama League Awards. We are honoring the famously wonderful in the Broadway community, director Alex Timbers. He directed Beetlejuice, and he is incredible, and I'm very glad to be here honoring him.
Isn't it nice you get to have your blonde hair back? How does it feel putting on that black-haired wig and being so goth? I have been admiring you since the Nether. I mean, you play these difficult, and Blackbird, and now this. You play these like difficult girl character.
Yes, yeah, those are the jobs I look for. I look for authentic girls and darker projects and thought-provoking projects. And yeah, putting the wig on every night, it's a transformation. I sort of become this sort of goth, very closed, sad girl. And yeah, so it's a transformation. I'm very open as a person, so it's a little different, yeah.
And your character keeps it from becoming a cartoony sort of a thing, because, I mean, Beetlejuice is over the top, and you're just a girl who wants her mom back.
Yes, yeah, Beetlejuice is a very sparkly, big, flashy, crazy, magical musical, and I definitely try to focus on being the sort of grounded one, and that's also my acting style. It's more grounded, and I think that contrast, but makes the show balanced.
Well, congratulations on everything, and good luck, and I love watching your career.
Thank you very much. 8 shows a week, and it tells the story of Lydia Dietz, my character, and sort of her journey, and also a very big comedy with Alex Brightman.
And what did you feel like when you found out you won the Theater World Award? I love this award.
I was very shocked. I've been nominated for things, but I've never won anything, so it feels very wonderful to be recognized and have the opportunity to thank the people that I want to thank. So I'm honored and very excited to be here.
Hello, here we are with
David Korins.
I thought that was you. Oh my God, your Beetlejuice set is insane.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
But you always create these very intricate, intriguing sets that are always full of surprises. That's the beauty of your sets. They're surprises.
Well, listen, so many of the surprises in Beetlejuice are actually dictated by what the show needs. When do you get the design challenge to change the complete set, the whole house of the set, 4 whole times, every single piece of architecture in it, and then to design the netherworld and a whole bunch of other locations? It's a dream come true. When you get a phone call from Warner Brothers saying, do you want to work with Alex Timbers on Beetlejuice, a Tim Burton property? You say yes, and then you freak out and figure out what did you sign on for?
I know, I love Alex Timbers. He is like the best director. And also, you have to deal with the lighting too, because it's very important that they light your set just right, because otherwise it could mess up your set.
Well, listen, this design team, the creative team, is one of the most talented I've ever been part of. One of the things I'm most proud of about the design of Beetlejuice is that you don't really know where the different disciplines leave off and begin. So the lighting design, the projection design, the scenery, the magic, the special effects, the illusions, we all work together really for the greater good. Best idea in the room wins.
Well, congratulations. I'm always excited when I see a David Korins set.
I'm always excited to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ludovica Villar-Hauser. I'm the producing artistic director of Parity Productions, also its founder. And today I'm here for the production of She Calls Me Firefly by Teresa Lotz, which is a co-production with New Perspectives Theatre Company and Parity Productions. And we're very, very excited because we got 2 nominations. And so Daniel Burns, who was for the part of Levi in She Calls Me Firefly, and Teresa Lotz for her play, She Calls Me Firefly. And she's a young playwright who we've nurtured with New Perspectives Theatre Company. So we're very, very, very excited.
So what's next for Parity Productions? You always have something in the fire.
Well, actually, yes. I don't know when you're airing this, but on August 21st, we have our first public reading of Stop Motion by Liz Kerrin, who is one of our 2 2018 commission winners, which is very, very exciting. And then on September 24th, we have our first public reading of Mirrors by Ajudi Osborne-Lee, and they are our other 2018 Parity Commission winner. And we go into production with Mirrors at New York Theatre Workshop next door, which is very, very exciting. And our first performance is February 29th. That's not a mistake, it's a leap year. February 29th, 2020. Very, very excited.
Oh, good, an extra day to see theater in.
Absolutely, I like your attitude, yes. An extra day to create theatre, an extra day to see theatre. Thank you, Eva, that's nice.
You're welcome.
Thank you for all you do for the theatre. I appreciate it. We need people like you.
You make my job easy.
Nathan Winklestein. Hi.
And you were in?
I was in Hamlet, What Dreams May Come.
And what was the Hamlet take on this one? What was it? What made this Hamlet different from all other Hamlets?
What made it innovative? It was a 4-person production where, well, I guess what made it innovative to some extent is the nomination it received was for Best Ensemble, and I think it's very rare that Hamlet is a play where people would think of Best Ensemble for, as opposed to Best Star and a few other people floating around. So it was very fun to be part of a production of Hamlet that was 4 people with roles of equal size getting to play with one another. I'm the associate at Red Bull Theatre, so I do a lot of work with them all the time. I'll be this Hamlet's probably going to move to a regional house in the spring or fall, and there's a few other projects that are coming along.
We love Red Bull.
Oh, well, we love y'all. We feel sort of like an indie theater masquerading as an off-Broadway theater in a lot of ways, trying to do work that's more that asks people to think about coming instead of just throwing a title out there that makes people go. We try to like make people come and think and leave with more questions than they came in with, and challenge them in a way that I think indie theater does in a way that nothing else in New York does.
And Red Bull puts on a lot of like readings and one-night things. I mean, you're busy.
Yeah, well, and that's those are my babies. I mean, the Revelation reading series is mine. So that's a lot of my time and effort throughout the year is casting and producing and directing those. So.
Well, congratulations. You have your hands full.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm unbelievably humbled and happy to have received these, and was shocked and surprised, and I'm very glad to have gotten nominated for both Best Revival and Best Ensemble. It's really exciting to me.
Yay.
Yeah.
And now where you can find shows we talked about, shows we'd like to see that are closing, and don't forget YouTube and Twitter and Facebook. You can always find our reviews. Who Killed Edgar Allan Poe, The Coping Theory, we're going to go see that. League of Theater, Professional Theater Women is having their launch on September 25th. Oh, Heron, How I Love You, that's about Jane Eyre, and you run around Jefferson Library. And the Broadway Cares Equity Age Flea Market, September 22nd. And in a future show, I'll have Alex Timbers, who also talks about his Moulin Rouge. There is so much going on in Fine Times 54 below. This is just a few. So go and find out about Maren Maisie, Sunflower Power Hour, and Jason Daniely there. Mark is going to FIAP to see Isabella on Johnny. Udo Lemper is doing a Marlena Dietrich cabaret. I'll be seeing at 59th Street only yesterday in Fern Hill. Lots going on at 92nd Street. Why? Oh my God. It's just the most incredible people are going to be there. So check it out. And last chance to see the Dream Up Festival at Theater of the New City. I heard Dining with Plots was very good. And Madonna's at BAM. And this hysterical play, Oedipus, Sex with Mom, was blinding. That Jan's going to go see. Japan Society's back. And Mac Wellman's having a bunch of his shows at the Flea, which we're going to be talking about. Irish Rep is doing King Fetcher's Catch 5. Playwrights Horizon is Wives. Novenas for a Lost Hospital has Kathleen Chalfant in it. And these are the shows that we saw that have closed that you might want to check out and see what we thought of. Don't forget to pick up your Performing Arts Insiders, a cultural heartbeat of New York City. Our next show is September 28th. We're dedicating the entire season September 28th. And also, on YouTube, you can see the entire interviews we got at the Innovative Theater Award nomination, which is going to take place September 16th when we find out who actually wins. So go to YouTube, Eva Heinemann, to check out all that, plus our show and Twitter and Facebook.